All right, so let's get into some graffiti news. I know I have not spoke on any graffiti yet, but I love the art and culture behind it. So there's this technique in graffiti now that's gaining popularity by rappelling off of the top of buildings to get these big pieces on top of skyscrapers. I was going through Reddit recently, and people were freaking out because they saw a big Rams piece, 44 stories up on an abandoned high-rise in downtown NYC. Now, Rams is the newest member of the legendary crew, MSK. He's from New Zealand, and he speaks a little bit on how he got in the crew.
How did you get connected with MSK?
So I ended up doing a trip, coming out here and then, touring around and meeting everyone. And then pretty much the last city that I went to, they put me in.
I mean, it kind of fits. Like, your graffiti fits well to, like, the MSK style.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's mainly because of, like, Askew's been such a fucking big influence on me. Because, like, in New Zealand, he's really only, I mean, maybe a little bit of Burst too, but he's kind of the guy that's known internationally. I don't know actually how big he is in the States, but yeah, people kind of look at, he's like the well-known writer in that, what do you call it, like mainstream field of graffiti and street art.
Now, MSK is a legendary graffiti crew, as I mentioned. They started in LA. They're known for their crazy styles. They had a real flowy type of style as opposed to like the really square, choppy images that you've seen in early graffiti. They recently celebrated their 35th anniversary in LA, and I'm thinking that's around when Rams joined the crew. Now, Rams, this technique that he's been using is called rappelling, and it sounds like it was a technique that, I mean, we all know that's for like rock climbing. People get on those ropes and they rappel down. I'm far too scared to do something like that. In this interview, this is a longer interview. I recommend you check it out on Living Proof Radio. But he got into rappelling because he said it's a little bit bigger outside of the U.S. As we all know, like people in other countries, they're still running with the essence of what hip hop was for us, the founding elements of what hip hop were. And graffiti has become a whole other thing now. It's not even really a part of hip hop anymore. But the art has become so huge to where it's even infiltrated art galleries. And Rams has been known for doing these huge pieces on skyscrapers all over New York City through rappelling. So he speaks a little bit on how he got into rappelling.
How did you get into rappel graffiti?
Notice told me. Notice took me on my first one.
Where was this?
We were in Philly. It was kind of weird because I was interested in doing rappelling, but I had no idea what any of this stuff was called or what even to research. And so I just looked into rock climbing to because it's the thing that I thought you would need to do this shit. And then, we're on this roof, bro, and I can't remember, it was like a 10-story or 12-story or something. And, dude, he just he did it first, and then he put the gear on me and then explained to me what it was. And then fucking going over that edge was so scary.
That's crazy, yeah.
Dude, especially like you don't understand what any of the gear is. It straight up fucking felt like I was trying to kill myself. Because it's like you're going over this edge and as soon as your center of gravity goes off, it's like you feel like you're going to die. Obviously I didn't die.
That's insane. That's insane that's your first time.
It's like, it was definitely one of the most scariest points of my life. And then, just did it. My fucking piece was terrible, but I was still happy.
Right.
And then, after that, fucking just racked the set and just went from there.
Now, this isn't the highest up that we've seen a Rams piece. Previously, Rams hit up a building that's 66 stories up, also in New York City, I believe. I'm going to put the footage up in this YouTube video. If you're listening on audio, go check out the YouTube clip. It is amazing to see, and also just rappelling in general in this environment. It's also almost like a, I don't know, like a parkour for rock climbing / art. It's amazing. It looks absolutely terrifying. The footage that I've seen, I would never do it. But also in this interview, Rams explains that when he goes out to do these rappel graffiti pieces, it's almost like 3 missions in one. The first mission is getting to the top of the building. He said you got to get through security, you got to find access. A lot of time you're breaking in. Okay, that's mission 1. The second is actually doing the piece, which I'm sure is terrifying. You got to have someone doing lookout. And then a lot of times they're doing some hidden cameras to film themselves doing it if you want that. And then the third is escaping. You're not done. Once you finish the clip, you got to get out of there. 3 missions in one to get this piece. That is dedication, hard work. For those that aren't into graffiti, look at your local graffiti with this in mind, okay? Not only does it look good, okay, you have to take into account how hard was it to get that piece there. Okay, if you're going to truly appreciate graffiti, you need to appreciate that part as well. Some people are just like, oh, that's ugly. Yeah, but it's like this guy just bombed 3 freeway signs in a row. Okay, he was probably trying to get it done as quick as possible. You need to appreciate that. So I love the art of graffiti, and I love seeing this story pop up on my Reddit randomly. So I had to report it to y'all. Shout out to Rams. Shout out to MSK crew.